Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Home Video Library. I'm your host Nathan P. Butler. This time we take a look at an item that was brought to my attention as being on sale through Hamilton Books recently for less than $10 when noticed by Stephen Bove, who is a member of the Star Wars Home Video community over there on Facebook. And it's not an item I normally would have picked up if I was just, looking for Star Wars items to pick up, just kind of browsing eBay or whatever it might be. But it's from a region that I don't really have a lot of stuff from, which is Mexico. Now, I do have the Mexican VHS and beta copies of the 1995 THX Remastered Edition. I do have that large version over here of their kind of tin set in relation to the ones that we saw in regions like Australia, the US, and the UK, which are over there. But not really a lot from Mexico. And it turns out that this was a steelbook that was being offered through Hamilton Books. However it came to be as a Mexican release for super cheap. So like, you know what? I'm going to jump on this. Something else to show, something cool to put in the collection, something from a different region, and it's costing like $10 even with shipping? Sign me up. What was it? It was the Mexican SteelBook for the Rise of Skywalker. And it's a little bit different than what we saw in the US, despite being a very close region. So here's the American version of the SteelBook, no J card, that's put away at this point. We've looked at this before in depth. Recall with this that for the US, you have your digital copy code, but you have in here the Blu-ray copy of the film, the Blu-ray bonus features disc, and you've got your Ultra HD Blu-ray copy, your 4K copy, all together in this steelbook. And in the US, this was exclusive to Best Buy, and it was the only way you could get a steelbook. There are other regions with similar ones. In many cases, if you look at like Japan, it has the faces on the spine instead. You have releases like this one out of the UK, and there it tended to be, okay, well, you're going to get the Blu-ray stuff, but you're also going to get maybe a 3D copy, or maybe it's the 4K copy. It depends on which copy you bought, because they had two of them, actually more like four of them if you look at the even fancier ones, on offer in the UK. So I was wondering what we'd actually see here for Mexico. And I don't know what all options they got in Mexico. I can only show you the one that I have here, but it's an interesting one nonetheless. So here it is. We got the J card on it here still. Now what you'll notice is if I take off the J card, it's pretty much identical to what you would see in the United States, right down to the fact that the spine says Ultra HD Blu-ray. There is no Ultra HD Blu-ray in this steelbook. And yes, I got it sealed, so I can tell you it is simply mislabeled. It's basically just the American steelbook with different discs in it. Slightly different discs. So here's your J card on it. Basically, it is a Blu-ray and DVD combo pack here. Yes, DVD. It says collectible steelbook, basically. It has the title up here in Spanish, and then the back information, that's all in Spanish. What's on the discs? Notice it says 2 discs. That's already kind of a warning sign here. With the films on it, quick description, images, stats. It's basically going to be the same kind of audio options you would expect. It's English descriptive, and then French and Spanish, and then for subtitles you've got English for hard of hearing, but you've got Spanish and French also, so sort of the same kinds of things here. You got your cast crew information, your various logos and whatnot. This is listed as Region A, and for DVD it lists it as Regions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And then your legalese and all that good stuff down there at the bottom. The top is just Starfield, the bottom is just blue. It's kind of cool that theirs actually does wrap around. A lot of times the US ones do not. But again, the case is effectively the same as what we saw before. But inside, 2 discs, not 3. Okay? No disc holder on this side. You might say, well, what discs are they? It said Blu-ray DVD, but that doesn't make sense. If you have a Blu-ray copy of Rise of Skywalker, you have the Blu-ray film disc, and you have the Blu-ray bonus features disc. Then you might have another disc of some type, but there's 2 Blu-rays. How do they get to having a 2-disc pack when it's a combo pack? Simple. They leave out all the bonus features that are on that separate disc. Disc 2 of the Blu-rays doesn't exist in this set. Talk about a nice chop-in quality from what you would get elsewhere. as to the discs themselves, whereas the packaging does not have any distinction from the US unless you put the J card on it, you do have distinctions here on the discs. So we have the title up there, Star Wars, but then the title of the episode, Rise of Skywalker, there in Spanish. Region A, Lucasfilm, Blu-ray symbol, the product number and the legalese going around the edges, right? You put it in, it basically plays like the US one. There's no significant difference that I could find. And DVD-wise, it's kind of interesting. Before we look at the DVD disc, let's do a quick comparison here. The US did get a DVD release of The Rise of Skywalker. It's a separate thing here. But if you look at it, notice there that underneath the rating, and it's Dolby stuff and all that stuff, but it says NTSC and notes it as Region 1. Okay, so at least the American one says Region 1. But you may recall my surprise upon looking at the one from the UK and finding that it, if you look underneath its ratings at the bottom, was listed as Region 0, effectively region free, though it's standard definition, so we're still talking about PAL, basically. Well, what about this one? And that weird way it's marked on the packaging, on the J card. Well, here we go. Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker there in Spanish. Then at the bottom, Lucasfilm. We got the legalese going on there. DVD symbol on the side, and it says region. And again, lists regions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all listed out there side by side. So pretty much play it wherever, but instead of calling it Region 0, it is noted as Region 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for accessibility. And I did try playing this in my American player. It did play fine, of course, in TSC. So a little more useful than a DVD, say, from the UK, and different in the way that it's marked. I find that choice of how to set these up and mark these as just a little bit odd. But kind of cool to see something from a region so close to the United States with a product that to some degree is similar to the United States, at least as far as the SteelBook itself goes, that as soon as you delve inside and you start looking at the J card, it starts to diverge quite a bit from what we see in the United States. I always find that to be a fun thing. I do kind of wish that they had a SteelBook difference other than just, having it all be on the J card, but, I guess you can't have everything. With that, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with the home video viewers. And I would say that in Spanish, but I can't, and you really don't want me to try.